Yo, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy Miles here. Welcome back to another Call of Duty Black Ops 7 video here on the channel. This video is directly related to the part 1 of the differences between the beta and the full release of the game. This is still beta footage. I really just made these two videos because I had decent beta footage and I really just wanted to post it online because later down in the year I want to really just like compare the gameplay between the beta and the full release. But yeah, this is part 2 of my takes on the main differences between the beta and the full release and what I think went well and what I think didn't go well. Part 1 will be linked in the description of this video. Hopefully, I remember to do that. I'm saying that now, so I hopefully watch this video before it uploads and end up doing that. But anyways, yeah, so in the first video, I mainly talked about things like gunplay, how the menu looked kind of identical to BO6, the problem with sliding and how shooting guns would give you this like tactical stance sort of situation instead of actually aiming down the sights. Same thing with jumping and diving. And the main focus that I was really talking about was skill-based matchmaking within the first couple days of the beta and what I liked about that versus what I didn't like. But one thing I really want to stress and talk about the beta specifically is the fact that I was playing more skill-based matchmaking than I was open matchmaking, because in the beta, for some reason, when they when they first released the open matchmaking playlist and I started playing that, it felt more sweaty than skill-based matchmaking. And I don't know why that is, because since the main release of the game has come out, I really haven't experienced that level of sweatiness. Like, a lot of people on the internet right now are going crazy talking about how sweaty Black Ops 7 is, even with the non-skill-based matchmaking lobbies and, you know, crossplay being turned off and shit, so they're not with PC players. I don't know why people were struggling, because at the end of the day, like, I'm really having a blast on the main release of the game. But on the beta, dude, like, I physically couldn't finish a game of open mosh pit or, like, you know, non-skill-based matchmaking gameplay because it just felt way more cancerous. I don't know what it was. I don't know if people were just, like, really getting on to test out the theory and if all the sweats were on just because they wanted to see if they could drop nukes. But, like, it was honestly, like, I was convinced that I was going up against people with Zens or Cronus's, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So most of the games that I played on the beta were honestly from skill-based matchmaking playlist. And that's probably why I had such a negative experience on the beta, is probably because I only played skill-based matchmaking servers. But like I said, I genuinely wasn't enjoying non-skill-based matchmaking, and I was seeing a lot of shit on social media about how even though people were clicking the non-skill-based matchmaking shit, like the open game modes and stuff like that, it wasn't acting as such. So like, I just didn't trust that playing open mosh pit would actually take me into real open mosh pit. So I was playing regular skill-based matchmaking playlist. But honestly, I want to say, besides the skill-based matchmaking and the issue with that, my real biggest problem with the beta was aiming. Aiming felt near impossible, and there were a lot of people that were just beaming my head off with these head glitches. And during the beta, I was genuinely concerned because I didn't know if I was going to pre-order the game. Play the game. I had pre-ordered the game, and that's how I got access to the beta. I'm stupid. But I didn't know if I was going to play the game, because it was just so unbearable, man. It was honestly so fucking unbearable. Like, it really just wasn't a fun experience on the beta. I got tired of it pretty quickly. I got tired of the same shenanigans. Like, when I'm aiming down the sights on a player and he's moving, my aiming stick, because obviously, like, when he's moving left and right, I'm still tracing his body, but, like, aim assist should be able to help you in those situations and keep your aim on the player if you're good enough to maintain the left-right strafing, which I am. Like, I'm not a player who can't aim at someone when they're moving left and right. I'm a movement demon myself. When I start releasing my actual footage from BO7, the main release, like, this will all be coming out like days after them, so I'm stacking these videos, if that makes sense. So you'll be seeing those gameplays very, very soon. These are just the first of the multiple videos from my console storage device that I'm editing and like doing voiceovers for. Which is also why I don't have a camera right now, because I'm home and it's like 4 in the morning. I have class in the morning at school in New Jersey, and like my PS5 Pro setup and everything on in my dorm on campus that has like my camera and everything set up. So these videos for the most part will be face camless. I hope that doesn't like affect my viewership or whatnot. I don't think it will, but like right there you can see how I'm sliding, and it just put me into this weird tactical stance. Like I really just wasn't a fan of that, and I know I mentioned that a lot in the first video, but like goddamn, like realizing how frequent it happened in the beta, it really makes sense as to why I hated this beta so much. It was just really hard to like think of this as the Black Ops 7 beta, because it just didn't feel like a Call of Duty game. Like playing this beta, it did not feel like I was playing the Black Ops 7 beta. I don't know what game I felt like I was playing. Honestly, it felt like a mixture of Titanfall, Infinite Warfare. Like the beta was just like all of the bad things about Black Ops 7 in my opinion. So it makes me very happy to see that with the main release, a lot of these problems that I'm talking about aren't really as persistent. Especially because with the full release of the game, everyone now knows like the full settings and stuff like that. So with the aim assist like strength being trimmed down, for me at least, I put it down to 90 instead of 100. It makes it a lot easier to aim in this game. But I'm telling you, bro, when people are moving left and right, it's like damn near impossible to aim at them, especially in the full release now. Like, it's super hard to aim in this game for some fucking reason. So the beta definitely made it pretty clear that this game was not going to be about, you know, catching bodies or aiming and stuff like that. It was going to be a little bit more tactical, a little bit more precision with your shot selection and what part of the body you're aiming your shots at. With the fact that these maps were all 3 lanes, I originally tried, like I said in the first video, using Tac Sprinter and just playing it like I did with Black Ops 6, just kind of rushing into the enemy spawn. Because in BO6, all of the maps made it so easy for you to rush into the enemy spawn and take advantage of all of the peaks, you know what I mean? Because you'd always have enemies in the spawn, but then you'd have a couple guys sitting in a head peak here, in a glitch spot there. So like getting into their spawns as quickly as possible was so easy in BO6, but I learned the hard way that BO7 was going to be a very different game, because it just wasn't working out for me. And most of my gameplay, like this gameplay for the most part, a good chunk of it was me trying to recreate that feeling from Black Ops 6, where I'm just like rushing and you know, taking the hits, but still just like getting clips, hitting him, but like that wasn't the case. The people on BO7 were definitely smarter than BO6, and thank God for the map, Jesus Christ, my lord, it's the map layout and the map creativity here, because these lanes are actually very creative, and it's not easy to exploit a spawn and just like take out people as soon as they spawn in like it was in BO6. I mean, I've been getting spawn killed in BO7, but it's only like very, very rarely. For the most part, I think I've covered everything that the beta had, you know, in terms of differences with the actual full release of the game. I think, like, I mentioned this in the first video, but I think I'll just say it again. Like, if camos were added, if they had a few more maps during the beta, and if open mosh pit was the standard from the beginning, I think the vibes during the beta would have been a lot better. It's just, like, the beta was so, like, mismatched in terms of opinions and shit. Like, a lot of people were getting on just to try to prove themselves right, that Black Ops 7 is trash and that Call of Duty is dead, you know what I mean? But for me personally, I just wanted to see where they were going with this, because first of all, I knew that Black Ops 7 wasn't going to be a completely new game. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not going to be a completely new game. Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 are pretty much the exact same video game. Like, they feel equally as tacky and heavy, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know why, but playing those games, like, even the campaigns, movement just feels a lot heavier. And Modern Warfare 2019 didn't really have that tacky movement shit. Modern Warfare 19 I know was like a completely different game from any other games before that, because it was the first game with the new engine. But Modern Warfare 2019 had its like standalone identity, and I think Black Ops 6, in terms of how the game felt with like moving around and just like gunplay and everything, was probably the closest thing I've seen to Modern Warfare 19 since that game came out. Attack me in the comments if I'm wrong. I don't care. I'm just giving my opinions out here. That's really what I'm here for. I have 260 subscribers on YouTube. I know my opinion isn't that fucking valuable. So, you know, maybe if you're going to comment something hateful, I would just like rethink who you're commenting on, because I'm not someone whose like comments going to affect. Like, it's not going to affect me. I don't have a large fan base. I'm just a dude who's been playing COD since I was 7. Even saying that is just so surreal. Like, my children, if I ever have kids, they are not playing video games the way that I was growing up. It just, like, completely desensitized me from everything. Another thing, I guess I just realized because the score streaks popped up on the screen here, is score streaks in the beta were definitely iffy. The dog score streak was very overpowered during the beta. Like, it was probably the most overpowered beta feature, and it got nerfed a lot in the actual release. Like, the dog is not, it's not useless, but it's not as important as I thought it was going to be from the beta, and that was really disappointing. I will say also, playing Overload, like, I really wish they didn't bring that mode into the real game. I understand that, you know, they're trying to get more exciting, more interactive game modes, and Overload is definitely one of those modes where you have to work together as a team, just like Hardpoint and Domination, but, like, Overload is obviously a very different mode from Hardpoint Domination. Excuse me, I have the hiccups right now, because you have to carry a ball and score it. It's like the modes from Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3. I just don't remember the names of those modes. Jesus Christ. Like, he's dead, Miles. He's dead, Miles. Oh my god. Oh my god! I do not remember doing that. Holy shit, I was so pissed I didn't get the melee kill, I guess. But yeah, like, I really thought the dog was going to be an important score streak, but then coming to the actual game, it was just, like, not as important. And not nearly as overpowered. Same thing with the chopper gunner, not chopper gunner, attack chopper. I thought the Watchdog Hilo, attack chopper, whatever you want to call it, I thought that was going to do numbers in this game, but people just shoot that shit down as soon as you spawn it in. So that is pretty much, like, useless score streak number 1 for me. In Black Ops 6, the Watchdog Hilo was probably, like, the most reliable score streak. You would just call it in and you would get at least 10 kills off that shit instantly. But in Black Ops 7, it just doesn't do that. And so I don't even know why they have that in the fucking game. But another thing I guess I'll mention now, I'm just, like, stacking ideas here because I don't really know what else to talk about, but I don't want to end the video. The melee hitting range is not good enough. Like, in the beta, there were moments where I was, like, kind of far away from a person, but close enough to the point where it should lunge me forward to him and make me knife the guy. Because in older Call of Duties, and even in Black Ops 6, like, if you were a decent ways away from the player, you could still lunge toward, like, in Modern Warfare 2, 2009, if you know, you know. Like, that shit is how I want Black Ops 7 to be. Because in BO2, knifing was pretty fucking overpowered. If you were facing a guy and you pressed the button at the right time, even if you were, like, a foot or two away from him, it will lunge you towards him, and you will stab the shit out of that motherfucker's throat. Same thing with COD Ghost. I think the range on COD Ghost in terms of melee weapons was so nice, but on Black Ops 7, it was just, like, damn near impossible to get a melee kill on a guy right in front of me. Even if I have the jump on, like, hitting him before he starts aiming at me, I end up just, like, I slide to the left, and he just barely is out of range of my fucking melee, like hit scanner, like, hit detection. Like, I don't think so, pal. I don't fucking think so. This is literally example number 1 of why the dog was so overpowered during the beta. It was damn near impossible to destroy. You need, like, 4 people spamming a full mag at the dog, or 2 full mags each to kill it. And in multiplayer, it's now, like, in the full release, it's still very overpowered, but I don't think you need damn near 4 mags to kill it. It would just take a few grenades to get that shit killed. But, yeah, I think, honestly, at the end of the day, you can't really expect a full experience from a beta. But I never really played Call of Duty betas because, like, I don't even remember. Like, I remember when the Black Ops 3 beta came out. I didn't play that because I was only 10. And at the time, I didn't really know how to get betas on my console. It was just like I went to GameStop and bought new games. You know what I mean? When a new game came out, if it wasn't on the store, you'd have to go to GameStop and buy it. And at the time, I didn't exactly know about, like, the internet. I did know about the internet, but I didn't know that you could, like, look that type of shit up. Because nowadays, you look up anything and it'll give you an AI overview. And that AI overview is essentially, like, collected data from a bunch of different sources that the AI just, like, combines into a explanation for you instead of you having to actually scroll through these different websites and see for it yourself. But back in, like, 2013, 2014, we didn't have that. So I wasn't really informed on the betas and shit, so I didn't play the Black Ops 3 beta. I don't know if the BO4 beta was a thing. I don't even know if Infinite Warfare had a beta, but I didn't play any of those betas. I didn't even play Black Ops 6 beta. I literally said in a previous video that I played BO6 beta, and that was such a blatant lie. Like, I just meant that, like, seeing videos and watching my friends in person play the Black Ops 6 beta, because I had 1 or 2 friends that played the BO6 beta last year. Like, my boy Andrew, he played the beta, and he screen shared on his PS5 a couple times with me during the beta when I was playing other shit. Like, I think I was playing 2K at this time, or GTA, or I was playing COD, but, like, Black Ops 2 and shit on my Xbox 360 and stuff like that. I originally, last year when I first moved to college, I brought an Xbox 360 with me instead of actually bringing my, like, PS5. I had an Xbox 360 and a PS2 with me. And then later on, I brought my PS5. But in all genuine honesty, man, like, there's so much I could say about the Black Ops 7 beta that just, like, doesn't really mean anything. Like, I could keep going and keep going and keep going. But at the end of the day, like I said, it was just a beta. And I really don't think we had enough people on the beta to really get the full experience. Like, I don't think that Call of Duty will ever be the same sort of, how do I say this, experience that it was, because back then, you could have a 60-inch TV, no headset, a wireless controller with like a 3 millisecond response time. Right, because TVs back then were not 1 millisecond response time. I don't even know if 4K televisions today in 2025 will give you a 1 millisecond response time when playing on console. I'm not positive. But back then, it was like at least a 4 or 5 millisecond response time when you were playing console on a TV, especially like one of those TVs in your living room. Like, I don't know if you ever played on a CRT TV, but my God, the input delay, dude, it's fucking horrendous. I played on like a 2014, like it was like one of the first Samsung smart TVs to ever come out, and the response time on those were still pretty fucking slow. Later on, I ended up playing on a Vizio television at my dad's house when my parents first got divorced. And by the way, I hate how you cannot double wall jump. Why can't I double wall jump? Like, why can't I wall jump and then bounce and bounce again on the same wall? Like, why can't I do that? I get why, because it would be, like, ridiculous to continuously bounce and bounce on the same wall back and forth, but you should make it so you could bounce twice. Like, bounce once and then bounce again, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like a double bounce, like a double jump feature, except it only works with bounces, on wall bounces and shit. That would have been really nice, but they didn't give us that, and we're still reaping what they sowed with that situation, because in my opinion, it like, I will die once every couple of games because I think I can make the wall jump, and I can't. But there really just weren't enough players. Like, I think at this point, with like the 79,000 player peak, like, most of those players, on average, are like about the same skill level. And the average COD player today, like I said in a previous video, they have monitors, they have wired controllers with, you know, paddles, control freaks, trigger stoppers. Like, the modern gamer is just night and day compared to, like, the modern gamer today is what we considered an elite, like, pro-level gamer 10 years ago. And that's the problem. You know, we don't really have casuals playing COD anymore because no one that really plays video games like this are a casual person. Like, over the last 10 years, with these shooting games and these games where you know, kill the enemy and you want to win, right? Like, why did people switch to PC for Fortnite? Because they wanted more frames, they wanted more power, they wanted to move faster, they wanted to do things quicker. And that's the, you know, that's the direction video games have taken. Everything has taken that direction, except for maybe RPGs, because role-playing games will always serve the same purpose. You play a role, it's a story, you know, you live in the story of the game. But with these multiplayer games, they obviously have to keep up with the, you know, the average teenager. And the average teenager is, like, cracked at 90s in Fortnite, has the reaction time of a fucking... Yeah, like, the average high school gamer has the reaction time of Prime Tfue. Like, I'm sorry, we didn't have those reaction times playing Season 1 Fortnite in 2017. Like, we were, like, honestly shitting our pants when somebody was building ramps up to our fucking face. We would just sit there and watch it happen in like a cinematic movie scene, just like, wow, that's so cool. Nowadays, everyone just like has a it's like basketball. Everyone's got a counter to everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you try to play one way, the enemies have a counter for that. You try to play stealthy, they have a counter for that. It's like, I just don't think we have enough casual players anymore, because Call of Duty just isn't a casual game. Like, it never really was. You know what I mean? But back then we were limited by technology, and now we're not. So this is really what Call of Duty has stood for in all of its career. It's just now we have the technology for these creators and developers to actually make these things to the large scale, you know, slop fests that they actually think, you know, they're like, you know what I mean? They think they're making like this huge, big, amazing game, but it's really just a bunch of slop. And they think the bigger the better. But the bigger the actually the bigger it is and the more slop you have, Activision and Call of Duty, the worse. The worst. But yeah, I'll just say that again. Like, there really weren't enough players in the beta, I think, to have the experience that everybody is so dying for. I think the reason Battlefield 6 is so diverse is because you have at least 100,000 people online every day. With that many people online, you're obviously going to have a diverse selection of little children who are just getting started in FPS games, old people, like veterans, you know, people with kids, grandpas, people like me who just want to sweat the fuck out. You have a decent, diverse selection of game styles, and Call of Duty at this point doesn't, mainly because, I'm going to say this, of Warzone. They focus more on Warzone than they have multiplayer over the last 5 or 6 years, and because of that, they've lost most of their traction, and I would say 95% of their respect. But with Black Ops 7, I think they've redeemed themselves a lot in terms of how people are going to look at Call of Duty based off of their multiplayers. I think this multiplayer is very polished and complete compared to everything else that I've seen since I was 11 years old, and that was 2016. So that is the part 2 for this video. Let me know what you thought about the beta, and let me know how you think the beta compared to the full release, and what you liked versus didn't like about the beta compared to the full release of the game. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to me talk about the Call of Duty Black Ops 7 beta. And yeah, I'll see you guys with some real launch day footage coming soon. Gold camo on the driving 4.5. I know you saw it in the beginning of the video. I'll be posting that very soon. Peace. Love you.